What happens when a judge makes it clear that a plea deal could be withdrawn at any moment?
But watching you sit there, smile, and laugh, and shake your head like this was no big deal, I'm very tempted to just say, I'm not going to accept this sentence agreement. We'll go to trial, and if you're convicted of felony murder, you'll go to prison for the rest of your life. That means you'll die there.
Take the case of Daunte Wright, who was charged with murder and armed robbery in Ann Arbor, Michigan. At 17, Wright opened fire during a robbery attempt, killing 18-year-old high school football player Jordan Kay. Two other teens involved, Jamarius Ellison and Delano Gracie, were later sentenced to 15 to 40 years in prison. Wright eventually entered guilty pleas to armed robbery, conspiracy to commit armed robbery, carrying a firearm during a felony, and second-degree murder.
Homicide case, you would agree to serve 23 to 50 years in Michigan Department of Corrections plus 2 on the felony firearm. How do you want to plead to counts 2, 3, 6, and 7?
I'm pleading guilty.
Wright then went on to describe the chilling details of the killing in a calm and steady voice.
On the morning of October 4th, 2016, did you agree and conspire with 2 other individuals, Delano Gracie and Jamarius Ellison, to commit an armed robbery?
Yeah.
And who are you going to rob?
Jordan Fleet.
Jordan Fleet. And that afternoon, did you in fact rob Jordan Fleet?
Yeah.
And did you use a gun to place him in fear in order to take his property?
Yeah.
And as a result of that armed robbery, what did you do with that gun and Mr. Jordan Fleet?
Shot him.
And where did you shoot him?
On the top. By his head.
And did you kill him with that shot?
Yes.
At sentencing, a relative spoke on behalf of the victim's mother, who was too overwhelmed with emotion to address the court.
Your Honor, my name is Courtney Clay, and I'm Karen's cousin. She's asked me to read this on her behalf. Sure. Jordan no longer has a future. I've lost my only child, my son, my baby, my friend. More than that, I've lost laughter and love. I no longer have the hope of having grandchildren. I've lost the enjoyment of holidays and birthdays and of everyday life. As a mother, or any parent ages her children are there to care for her. But now in my life, I walk this journey alone.
However, the defendant showed no remorse, smiling throughout the statement. Wright then addressed the court, maintaining his indifferent demeanor.
I'll be home soon. R.I.P. Keon. I love my family.
That's all you got to say.
But Judge David Swartz refused to accept it and threatened to reject the defendant's plea deal.
You know, I have never in 23 years approximately ever not accepted a sentence agreement between the parties because it's bargained for, sentenced by the parties. But watching you sit there, smile and laugh and shake your head like this was no big deal, I'm very tempted to just say, I'm not going to accept this sentence agreement. We'll go to trial, and if you're convicted of felony murder, you'll go to prison for the rest of your life. That means you'll die there. That's what I'm tempted to do. Mr. Bella, do you want me to accept this sentence agreement?
Your Honor, may we approach prison?
Yes.
At that moment, the decision fell to the prosecution whether to uphold the deal or move forward with a full trial.
With the victim's mother, as well as his grandparents and some family members, they understand that obviously this is the defendant who brutally murdered their son by shooting him in the back of the head. He's shown absolutely no remorse. He's written rap songs to other murderers about continuing killing, and throughout the victim impact statements today, he smiled and he laughed throughout the entire proceeding. However, the plea family does want to move on with this. They want to get some closure from this case. They want to try and forgive this defendant and all of his actions for what he did. And they are asking, as well as the people, that you proceed with the sentence agreement.
Wright was given another chance to speak, this time delivering his statement through his attorney to the court.
Your Honor, my client asked me to apologize to the court. His smiling was in no way meant as disrespectful either to the family, to the victim, or to this court. My client is 17 years old. He has some emotional problems and frankly was scared. And some people display fear by smiling.
In the end, Judge Swartz accepted the plea agreement and sentenced Wright to 25 to 52 years for the killing of Jordan Kay. His earlier behavior in court had nearly cost him everything, bringing him close to a life sentence.